Hello and welcome to Bad Reviews, where I read all of the rejections I have received after sending my songs to journalists and influencers and playlisters. Why am I doing this? I don't know, but here we go. Let's just start right from the top. Some of these are a little funky. Lovely. Killer start. This song has expressive vocals and beautiful melodies. Wow, thank you. The main issue I have is that it could be a tad bit faster for me, but the lyrics are well crafted with good beats as well. So that's a no, I guess. A lot of kind things to say about it, but a solid no. Okay, this one is for my track Winter. This is actually my favorite song on the album. It says, the vocals sounded nice on Winter. I just wasn't really into the verses or melodies throughout this one. Really well done track, with an exclamation point. The folky vocals and instrumentals set a certain vibe that works really well. Unfortunately, I usually prefer more upbeat kind of things, so I won't be sharing it. Alright, it's understandable. The delivery sounds good. Really cool beat and amazing tones, original elements included, instrumentals are rhythmic and varied. However, the melodic line was not as catchy as I would like it to be. All the best. Hi there.
Hello there.
Oh, that's we got a nice little greeting on this one. I feel the song's atmosphere and vibes are very good here. Thanks. Not the right structure and style for me, though. I didn't feel enough parts... What? I didn't feel enough some parts of the vocals lines.
I didn't feel enough some parts of the vocals lines.
And sound design to fit in my song selection. This is a nice review. I don't actually know who did this. I removed the titles of the people who wrote this in this document. I really hope that's not a journalist, because the writing there that's real bad grammar. Grammar is good. All right, we got a bit of a long one here. The acoustic instrumental really stands out in the song, and the guitar and the piano touches have an incredible harmony. Wow. The vocal tones are really good and manage to get into the mood of the instrumental, but we just felt that the effect placed on the vocal was not ideal and did not give the voice the ideal prominence that we're looking for in our opinion. You are an awesome artist, though. That's a pretty stinking nice no. I am all in for people not being down with an effect that we used. This is one of those things, really, when you're a musician or an artist of any kind, if you like it, that's probably the most important thing. You could make something that people like. Granted, I could go back and forth just trying to cater to this person's needs to get the effect that they want, but if that's the effect that I like and that my team likes, then awesome, we'll stick with the effect. This one says, unfortunately, because of the points mentioned above, we won't be able to share this track, but we wish you the best. But there are no points offered above.
10 points to Gryffindor.
So, I don't know why. Nice work on this. Some great synth tones and overall great presentation. However, it's just a bit more in the world of pop and percussion facing work for our more ambient and experimental blog to cover. I'm going to be real with you. This one makes very little sense to me. I respect this decision. However, I don't think you could play this album to anyone and have them describe it as pop. In fact, I think most people would probably go into ambient or experimental in describing this album. Granted, I go through a bunch of different kind of genre influences on it, but I don't know. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this statement regarding some of these tracks. All right, here's a specific one. This is for my song In Ruins. This says, at a minute 30, the lyrics batters the lighthouse have vocal soaring that rouses in its expanse from the national-esque initial somberness with a climactic build driven by the vocal passion and tender guitars, but not culminating in something that stuck enough with me. I love this. This might be my favorite rejection that I've received because of how quickly it flips on a dime. It comes in and I'm like, they're like teasing me. They're like, there's vocal soaring rouses and its expanse. There's a climactic build driven by vocal passion and tender guitars. Like, great words that you've picked to describe my music. Thank you so much. but that culmination was it just wasn't enough for me. I think it's hilarious. I love it. Thank you for your compliments, whoever wrote this. And then lastly, we have this one. The build up to your voice showing up took too long on this, in my opinion, and the melody is a bit too classic for me. I will not share this song. And that caps off all of the rejections that I have received since putting this album out on October 27th. So there are a couple of reasons why I do a video like this. And the first one is that if you are an artist, whatever it is that you're making, if it's visual, if it's music, if you're a writer, you are going to have people who don't like the art you make, or even just who don't have the same taste as the art that you're making. And if you can't move past that, you're just going to live in this constant fear of making and releasing that art. One thing that someone told me that I think has been really big is that an album that's made will always be better than an album that's not made. And if you're not making the album because you are concerned that somebody is not going to like it, that's a huge shame, because then you are removing joy from your own life. So doing something like this, for me, it just takes the power away from the rejection. Also, you have to pay a little bit of money when you submit to journalists and to playlisters and stuff like this. Often, sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not. And even if it's just like $2 to $4, I'm going to get my money's worth for that. I'm a starving artist, so you're damn right that I'm going to share my bad reviews and use it to try to expand my viewership and my listenership. One of the other reasons that I do this is to kind of poke fun at the way that I got some of these responses. You'll notice that a lot of these were people who either just didn't have taste or kind of weren't into it, but that they cushioned it with a lot of like nice things about my songs. I went to college and got a degree in writing, and one of the things that frustrated me the most when I was in school was this whole thing where I would do a short story or a poem and would be reading it to someone or would give it to someone. They'd come back and they'd be like, oh, this is great. All of this and this and this is really, really good. Good job. And they would give me very, very little feedback of what I could use to grow or to change. And so there was this one year where I was over it. And I went to one of my favorite professors. His name was Steve. If you went to Fort Lewis College and you've had Steve for a class, you've lucked out. He's amazing. And I went up to him and I said, Steve, I'm really sick of people telling me that my stuff is good and giving me nowhere to grow. Which I know that's a really, really dumb thing to be upset at, that people are complimenting you. But if you want to get better, you need people to tell you where you can grow. And I said, this semester in this class, I just want you to tear my work to pieces. And he was like, do you really want that? And I said, yes, this is what I want. And he said, okay, well, I think one of your biggest issues is you use these big like romantic words, and I want you to write this year as though you're just sitting at a bar next to someone. He was like, I want you to create beauty from that very, very small thing. And every time that you use a word that's not something that your everyday half-drunk person would understand, I'm going to stop you and make you pick a new word right on the spot. And he did that for a whole semester, and in roughly like the last couple of weeks, he said, did you notice that I haven't stopped you once? He was like, you caught on to this thing. And after that, I watched my writing just get intensely better, and I found that I had kind of discovered and really cultivated this new skill that was still authentic to me, but that actually made my work far more accessible. And I tell that story because within these kind of reviews, I didn't really receive anything that actually helped me to grow. Yeah, the music's out there, it's done. I can't go back and change it, but I'm still writing music. And so what I'm looking for is, if you're going to give me feedback on how I can still be authentic, but continue to create something that is growing, that is learning, that is different, and is exciting. So to be honest, yeah, these reviews are pretty frustrating, and they're frustrating because it's a bunch of good things followed by, but I won't share it. That's part of why one of my favorites that was on there was the guy who was like, it culminated, but it didn't do it enough for me. It got to this big point, you were trying to build something, but it didn't stick with me. And that goes, okay, thank you. Thank you for actually telling me what you didn't like about it. Anyway, these are some bad reviews of the new album. that I just put out, Letters to God, Man and Myself. There's some amazing people who put amazing amounts of work in on this record, and I think we are all really proud of it. If you want to judge whether or not you enjoy this, it is available on all streaming platforms. You can also visit www.raggedoak.com and purchase the record if you want to try and support artists like me just a little bit more, or you can go to patreon.com/raggedoak and become a patron, in which case you get behind the scenes content, you get swag, there's specialty made videos for you, early music releases, demo releases, lots of cool stuff that you can get if you become a Patreon subscriber. And thank you especially to all of my Patreon subscribers right now. Really, the hope of this video is that if you are trying to create and if you are an artist, that you would find some hope and some freedom in the fact that you can just let this stuff pass away. You can use it to grow, and if it doesn't have value, then don't hold onto it. And if you're not an artist or a creator of any sorts, then I hope that you got some sort of piece of joy or comedy in your day from watching me read a bunch of people sort of tell me that they don't like my music. Anyway, my name is Josh Bendralla, and I am Ragged Oak, and I hope that you will keep on listening. More stuff to come.